Hey everybody, happy 2025. If you can hear the sound of my voice, could you raise your hand so I know that you can hear me? Perfect. Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much. Um, you can put your hands down now. Um, so for anybody that doesn't know me, whether you're joining now live or watching on a replay, my name is Laurel, and I'm one of the recent certified coaches under Hale, and I've been working with the Sedona method since 2018, working with people to share this wonderful, wonderful tool. And I couldn't be happier to be here with you all right now in this moment, such a moment of transition, regardless of what time zone you're in. It's a new year. And even though time is a construct, it is something that as humans we operate under. So we're all having this collective experience of shifting into this new beginning, this new cycle, and knowing that there can be a lot of pressure around this time of year, a lot of expectations, whether you're somebody that sets resolutions or goals or intentions, there can be some resistance around what this time means. So I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to do some releasing if there's anything around that. And also, there could be some lingering feelings from 2024. Maybe it was a difficult year. Maybe there's some things that still feel like they're present for you that you'd like to release, to start to have a clean slate. That's really what I feel like for me, how I see this time is it is the opportunity for a clean slate, for us to let go and release and then say, okay, now how do I want to move forward from this point? So that's kind of my intention for today, but whatever is in your space, whatever brought you here today is absolutely welcome here. And if you're new to support calls, this is like many other calls. It is a place to receive support. It's also a place to ask questions about the Sedona method if you're practicing on your own or with releasing partners. All questions are welcome here. And also to share gains. Now, this is even more prime opportunity to share gains about how this technique has benefited you. Because it could be, you could, if you're newer to this, this could be something that you take into this new year of this wonderful tool to help support you in any and all areas of your life. So that's what we're going to do. And again, I'm really happy to be here with you all. And I thought just to get started, that I would go ahead and just do a little group release, knowing that, we are in this collective experience. Wherever you are, I know we're all probably in different time zones, perhaps different places around the world. And the clock struck midnight at different moments. But, we're all in the same space, similar space together. And so just wanted to start with a group release to, to address that. And then we'll go from there. So as best you can you allow those words to just melt away, to dissolve? Could you allow yourself to pause and stop? And notice what's here now. What's here in this moment? Could you notice what's stirring in this body mind? You might be drawn to the external. You might notice noises in your environment or movement. Perhaps the mind has things to say. Whatever you're noticing, could you allow that? Simply acknowledge it. And letting it pass through, pass on by. And as fast as you can you turn the attention towards this body mind, going inward. You might notice the chest rise and fall with each breath, each inhale and exhale. You might notice the temperature on your skin. The surface that you're sitting upon or laying upon. And then notice whatever arises when you think about this moment in time. What is ahead with this new year? Or anything that you have still feels like you're carrying from the last year. Noticing any sense of anticipation, excitement. And perhaps there's a feeling of resistance. Feeling like there's too much like on my shoulders of what's expected of me by myself or others into this new year. Or perhaps there's a weight from something that feels unresolved, something that's lingering from the past. And without trying to conjure anything up, just noticing as you think about this moment in time, what arises? What's taking up space? What wants to be noticed? And could you simply notice that? Could you allow it to be as big as it appears to be? Could you allow it to have a voice? To be seen, to be heard, to be acknowledged? Could you welcome that? Could you let it be here as much as it is? And whatever that thing is that you're noticing, whatever appears to be taking up space in your awareness, could you be open to the possibility of whatever is beyond that? What's on the other side of that thing? And it could be that you're here and feeling really good about the new year. Feeling like, I don't really have anything I want to let go. And if that's the case for you, could you notice that? Wherever you are in this moment, as you reflect on this time of transition, could you notice that? And then be open to the possibility of what's beyond. What's beyond that? Maybe it's more space, more freedom, more permission, or allowing you to be where you are, acceptance, ease, flow. Whatever is there. Could you relax into that? Could you allow yourself to feel that right now, in this moment? Could you be that right now? Could you be open to feeling in your body what it would feel like to be that way? Or at least be open to that possibility as best as you can. Okay, I think that's a good start. Thank you for sharing that with me. So the floor is now open for anyone that has questions, would like to receive assistance, or share a game. Hey, Tim. Tim?
And hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hello.
Great. Okay, how you doing?
Good. Happy New Year.
And to you, and to you. Thank you
Thank
for that release.
Yeah,
Yeah, first of all, I've got a game I'd like to share, and then ask for some assistance or a release on something, if that's all right.
absolutely.
Okay, so as is often the case this time of year, um, relatives were involved, family. Well, I'm lucky to have family, but it's that kind of
Mm.
time often. And we were visiting my sister and her son and partner and ex-partner. That's a long
Oh,
story.
wow.
We don't need to. It's not like it sounds. It was cool,
Yeah.
and but I I really had a resistance to going,
Mm.
and I thought, you know, I was imagining projecting exactly how they'd behave, what they'd say, the kind of questions they'd ask me about my life as if they would, as if there was some like an interview or something crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I released on that and we went down. And of course, it was completely unlike anything I'd imagine. It really flowed smoothly. And whatever character traits they were displaying, which I'm already familiar with, seemed like actors acting them out in a movie or even a cartoon, more like
Nice.
you know, like avatars or something. Um, so that was great, and
Oh,
so I just wanted to share that. And along with that was sort of gratitude for the method, which I was going to say been into. It sounds like it's sort of part-time hobby. I've used on and off for some years, as well as being into other non-dual type of things.
Mm.
But I have to say, I found that the method is the simplest, most practical, and straightforward tool that I've come across. So I'm grateful
That's
for the method.
beautiful.
And the release or
Can I
assist. Yeah, go. Sure,
ask,
sure,
can
sure.
I just ask a question about that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Just for anybody that's here now or might be listening in the future, would you be willing to share a few words about how you went about releasing on that?
Yeah, let me just think and see what I I did. I've been mainly when I've been releasing now, because when I first, I guess like a fair number of people, when I first came across the method, it was quite mental.
Mhm.
I was quite mental, but it was like it was head oriented, and
Yeah.
then I heard the tip of tilting your head down or just being aware of the front of your body, the
Mm.
torso, the chest and belly and stuff, and working more at a feeling level. So I
Mhm.
just um, allowed feelings that accompanied the projection I made, the imagined visit to the people involved, and I just welcomed the feelings really, and just allowed them to be there the best I could, and then just let them go.
Beautiful.
That was the main focus on that particular release. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
That's a good tip for anybody that hasn't got into releasing on their own. So thank you for
yeah,
sharing that.
yeah. It really helped me.
Good.
And yeah, so what came up today was I was on another call earlier from the WhatsApp list
Mm-hmm.
and a one-on-one release on something that was triggered when I watched a video on YouTube, a tutorial, and it was about business, how to market yourself. And without going into a massive blah blah blah, I've been doing voiceovers on and off for some years, quite a bit off as well because I've done other stuff. And this was how to. And I was going to say advanced in years. I'm not. I'm in my 60s. Whether or not that's relevant a lot, I don't know. But anyway, the person was saying that, yeah, you got to really put yourself out there. You got to be on every social network. You've got to know this, that, and the other. You've got to obviously, if you're a freelancer, you've got to know about the business side of stuff. And I felt myself within minutes becoming overwhelmed and tearing up, frankly, and my belly
Mm.
tightening. And I thought, this is something I love doing, but I hate this. I hate this side of it. And I'm crap at it, frankly, anyway. It's,
Yep.
it's, you know, and then I thought of goals because I've always had an aversion to doing goals because I've seen them as barriers, that I guess probably because a lot of the goals I've had in the past have, in my eyes, failed. Although
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that's been a blessing, actually. You can see that with hindsight. So
Mm.
so this other guy I released with the other day said, yeah, I'm a life coach and maybe we could work on some goals. I work very practically. And I thought, no, I really don't want to. And then when I got off the call, I thought there was a should. Oh, maybe he's right. And maybe I should. Oh, maybe that's the problem. And this nonsense conversation in my head. And so what I was releasing with the guy I did today, it wasn't to do with goals. It was what had triggered me from that video. And what came up was survival and control, like controlling how I should go about or having anything to do with my Tim's voice. I mean, it's like it's just there, it's just there, and it's not who I really am. And also, anything linked to survival, like maybe I really could make some money out of this, and we need it, and in the background. So the big
Mm-hmm.
thing was survival, and there is still a bit of that there. There's some kind of yeah. I was on the call for about 10 minutes, but there's still a residue. And without wanting to have that as a future problem, then that may take a little bit of work. I get that. So maybe if we could look at that again without hogging the floor too much.
Oh
Although,
no, I mean we've got plenty of time today. Like I wasn't sure
okay.
how New Year's Day people would
Oh,
be
yeah.
where they'd be at. So whoever's here is perfect.
Yeah, sure.
Um, so the biggest thing that still has that residue is this wanting survival.
Yeah,
Is that
I think
right?
so. I think it's linked into that. Yeah,
Okay.
it came up. Yeah.
Okay. Great. And perfect. Well, let's just go there.
Okay.
So first, since we've shared a lot of words,
Hmm.
could you allow yourself to pause? Dropping into the body. And could you stop? And notice what's here now. And could you notice this feeling of wanting survival? And could you notice where it appears to reside in the body? Do you have a sense of that?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Where is it?
It's in my throat.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And could you notice this whatever sensation is in the throat that appears to be linked to wanting survival? And just being curious. We're just noticing what's here. Knowing that in this moment we're absolutely safe. All is well. And this is simply a response from the body. And could you notice anything around this story, around your voice, how you use it or don't use it, what any of this means? And any aspects of that story, could you just allow them? Almost like you're watching a movie on a screen, simply noticing, but not attached. Check to see if there's any judgment around this wanting survival, the story around your voice, or what you've done or not done.
Hmm.
Hmm. And whatever's being noticed, could you simply allow that? And could you welcome it a little bit more?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
And then notice any part of you that wants to change this. Any part of you that wants to get rid of feeling unsafe. Wants to be safe. Noticing any resistance to feeling this way, being this way.
Mhm.
Or any other resistance around this situation that's here now. Any sense of pushing away or wanting to get rid of, wanting to escape, wanting to change, as well as wanting control. And then also notice if there's any sense of attachment, anything that is being held on to, even if it's something that is uncomfortable or unwanted, a sense of this is how it is. This isn't going to change. I don't really want to do this. anywhere where you might be digging your heels in any way regarding this situation.
Mhm.
Good.
Mm.
Perfect. Yeah. Just whatever's being noticed, just allowing that to be just as it is. Good. And now, Tim, could you notice how any ways that this wanting survival feels personal to you?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, like this is Tim, this is who I am. This is part of me.
Mhm.
I own this feeling. This is mine. This is me. And especially somebody who studies non-duality. That's
The irony of it, yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And so in this moment, in this release that just happened, I invite you to really feel into what is beyond any sense of Tim, this body mind who holds on to thoughts and feelings and sensations. And can you relax into the vastness of who you truly are? Could you relax into what is beyond any sense of Tim? Any thoughts, feelings, and sensations? Can you relax into the unlimited nature of your being, of this being? Could you just feel into that possibility, that knowingness of what's here beyond Tim?
Mhm. Yeah.
And knowing that that sense of feeling unsafe, wanting control, anything that arises is also part of that. In this infinite ocean that contains all things, everything flows through it. Each thought, feeling, sensation. Can you also welcome the knowingness that there's much more than that? And that's who you are.
Yes.
Okay. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Mm.
Is there anything else, or does that feel complete for you?
Yes, yes, it does. And just briefly, the irony that came to me
Hmm.
during it is that all of the three main voiceover things that have occurred have happened without any. They've just arisen through seemingly magical ways, and they've been a perfect fit for the material that was required. And the
Mm-hmm.
complaint I'd then have is, oh yeah, but there were big gaps between that, and then I had to. But that's all nonsense. I mean, the main thing
Yeah.
is actually the main thing is that I feel at peace right now. That's really all that matters. Of course, of course. Thank you,
You're so
Laura, for that.
welcome. You're so
Yeah.
welcome, Tim, and it's nice to share space with you. I'm not sure if we worked together before.
No, I've not come across your name, no, but this is great. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I was going to say, and it may happen with the other people on the call, and I'm not sure how long you're going to stay on the call, but if there's any part of you that wants to look at goals, I like to do goals the way that, Hale shares, which is really looking at any resistance around the goals. And so if there's any part of that that's still remaining at any point, I'm very happy to. I think this is a very opportune call to share that. So if that comes, I want to, you're in a space of peace, and I'm not pushing anything on you, but
Yeah.
I'm just putting that out there to if it lands for anybody that's hearing my voice right now. So
Thank you. I have to go in half an hour because it's dinner time here in London.
nice.
So
No problem.
but
No
maybe some
problem.
other time, yeah, let other people
Yeah.
do the
Yeah.
thing. Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for
Okay,
being here.
cool.
All right, Mari.
Hi, Laurel.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's so nice to
Thank
have you
you.
here.
Yeah, thank you for this call and for your presence and for spending the time with us.
Oh,
Um,
my pleasure.
I have an observation and then maybe I could get some help.
Absolutely.
What I'm noticing in a lot of the releasing that I'm doing is the same stuff is coming up. Like it's kind of like, oh, you're still here. It's a bit repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
And so that gives me the sense that maybe I could use some support on that. And it's kind of
Okay.
it's the same sort of cluster.
Mm.
The best way that I can describe it is kind of like it's the same sort of like it's like a just like I think I the sense of like the releasing that I like to do is like what's beneath that and what's beneath that and just try to get to the root of something and I don't often get to like a good place. Um, but the same things keep coming up and it starts off as like this thought of you're not allowed. Like I welcome the sense that I'm not allowed to be loved.
Mm.
Like this really strong constriction, like you're not allowed. And then when I go beneath that, it's like you'll hurt other people if you're loved. Like you'll hurt, like it's kind of like a warning sign, like a signal,
Mm.
like you're gonna hurt other people. Um, or other people will hate you. Um, and then I kind of like sit on that and I welcome that. And it's hard to welcome the idea that I will hurt other people. And it's difficult because intellectually I know I won't, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I know that's not true. Because I'm not actually hurting anyone, but I'm the fear is like you're gonna hurt their feelings or all of this. So the fear that other people will hurt you or hate you or you'll hurt other people, therefore you're not allowed to be loved. And then when I sort of sit with that a little bit more, there's actually this like really deep fear of love. Like I'm afraid of love. Um, and I keep getting stuck in that sort of cycle. Like you're not allowed. You're not allowed to be loved. And if you are, you'll hurt other people and other people will hate you. Kind of this like if you actually blossom or if you're actually loved, like you'll attract a lot of hate. And then I think at the heart of that or the root of that is like really a fear of love. And so I kind of in the releases seem to be going in circles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, Thank you for sharing all of that. I one comment just to support you in your releases that may be helpful um is the thought that comes up that you'll hurt others if you're loved and the resistance to welcoming that. Um when you share that with me, what comes up is like this is just a thought. It doesn't mean that I'm going to welcome actually hurting anybody, but this is just a thought that's coming through the mind right now. And and the welcoming, some people, I like to use different words. When things feel painful or they feel like, oh, hurting others, like I don't want to welcome that. If that word doesn't feel right, you can be like, I'm just going to acknowledge. I'm just acknowledging that there's this thought that's coming up right now. I'm just noticing. Um, because the only the thing of welcoming is that whatever's coming up and is causing resistance or a contraction in the body, you know, our habitual pattern is to push it down,
Hmm.
is to not notice it. And so the welcoming is just simply like, I see you. I see that I'm having this thought that I think I'm going to hurt others if I'm loved. Okay, like there you are again. So
Mhm.
I don't know if that's helpful to just kind of,
Yeah, yeah, it is. It creates a bit of space and less
Mhm.
attachment, and like
Yeah.
I believe it less, but it feels it has a really strong charge around it, and it almost feels like it's doing me the favor of warning me,
Yeah.
like don't ignore me, I'm doing you a favor. Um,
Right.
so this sense of like if the alarm's going off, it's like, why would you hate the alarm? Like it's just like,
Yeah.
so it's this sense of like um it almost wants to prove itself true, or like I'm correct.
Hmm.
Like don't
Yes.
dismiss me. Like I'm the correct one. So
Yeah.
there's yeah, but noticing that is
Well,
I think noticing gives it more space for me than welcoming.
mhm. And that's what I always suggest with anybody, like as we welcome, if we notice resistance, because some people I like to suggest like if it's helpful to have like an image, so this thing that arises in your mind that you'll hurt others if you're loved. Well, maybe there's like an image of what that is, this
Hmm.
whatever's voicing that. And
Hmm.
so, when we welcome, it's like, oh, I could give this thing a hug, or I could,
Hmm.
sit down with it. Well, maybe that we don't want to be that close. Maybe
Hmm.
we're gonna make eye contact.
Hmm.
And so, however, like whatever the amount that the noticing, that's not going to cause more resistance in the body,
Hmm.
is what I
Hmm.
like to suggest.
Okay, yeah.
You know, and all of this, like what you shared, to me, it sounds like, these are ways that your body is trying to keep you safe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's it. So it's like, oh, there you are again. It's like, well, there's still something here that feels like you need to be protected, you need to be safe. Um,
Hmm.
so so let's do some do you want to do some releasing around it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Um, good. So at first, could we pause? And all the things, everything that's led up to now, as best as you can we set that down? And could you stop and notice this moment? If you had no memory, if it was just this right now, what would be here? What's here in this moment?
There's a bit of anxiety,
Okay.
and there's this sense of like, don't you dare let yourself be loved.
It's
Don't go there. Like it's a very like, yeah, like don't you dare. It's like don't do that.
yeah.
Like don't let that good thing happen. Like a lot of prohibition and yeah, and
Mhm.
a little anxiety.
Yeah. And do you have, I know we worked together before and you've had really visual releases. Do you have any image of what this?
It's sort of like you're not allowed. Like you're sort of
Hmm.
like I'm locked in a room. Like don't you dare try to
Hmm.
come. Like stop
Okay.
trying to come out of the room.
And do you have a sense of who locked you in that room?
Um, Not really. It's just
Okay.
kind of it's the sense of like there's a crowd out there and they don't want you there. So like just
Okay.
stay out. Like it's almost like the person who's locked me in the room is like following the directions of a larger sort of group. Like that person's just the like guard or something. Like they're not the ones.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So when all that you've been sharing, there's the different wants, and you may or may not be familiar. But and these are wants that Lester, who created the Sedona method or discovered it, he developed over a process of self-inquiry. So there is the wanting control and the wanting security, wanting to be safe. There is wanting approval, wanting validation, love, acceptance. And then there's also wanting to be one or wanting separation. And which of those, and there may be a few, feel like might be showing up here?
I mean, there's definitely separation, right? So like
Yeah,
I'm separate from the crowd. I'm like kind of being sequet like held in a box. Um, and a control, right? Because like there's I'm being controlled in a way. And it's this larger sense of like, if you come out of the room or whatever, like it's not going to be good for all of us, you know? So like you're doing us all, like the general, the collective, a favor by staying away. Um, and that like you receiving love will just kind of like ruin the party for everyone. So it's this definite separation, and yeah, I guess I
yeah,
would say control, like because you have to
yeah,
control that entity that's going to like ruin the party.
yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, separation was the one that was ringing for me. So
Yeah,
I didn't want to speak for you. Let's start with that. And I'm just going to start with some, well, you mentioned really liking what's beneath that,
hmm
which is very similar to the diving in technique. So
hmm
I love when you shared that with me, that you were using that. Would you prefer to use it that way or to try
yeah.
something different? You want that?
I
Okay.
like that. Yeah, I find it really helpful for me.
Okay, great. And feel free as I do this to just dialogue with me.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, and we'll just kind of see, what, as we pull back the strings, what happens.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And so all that you've shared, this sense of anxiety, um, this part of you that's saying, don't let yourself be loved, you'll hurt others if you're loved, just noticing all of that's here right now. And in this moment, we're not trying to change anything at all. We could just see whatever those thoughts are, whatever those beliefs, and just simply notice them. Notice what's here now. And could you allow it to be as big as it is? If these thoughts had full reign and could just voice as loud as they can about what they have to say, could you allow that? Knowing that these are just thoughts that are trying to protect you. So, what do they have to say?
There's a lot of fear. Like if we take the lid off this thing, it's too scary. Um, it's too scary to, yeah, I just feel like take the lid off. Um, yeah, so they have to keep being themselves and saying don't and all that. So taking like fear comes up, like don't change this because it's too scary. It's too like there's unpredictability, it's too scary. Like we don't won't know what to do. A lot of bad things could happen. Um, so like they're kind of saying we serve a purpose.
Hmm.
We're
Yeah.
good. We serve a purpose
So,
because changing it or shifting it might be would expose you. That's what it feels like you'd be exposed. It would be dangerous,
okay.
would be hurt. Like you could get hurt.
So, Mari, would you like to keep feeling this way?
No, but it does feel safe.
Yeah. So when we talk about, holding on, it's very common to hold on to things that we don't want.
Yeah, there's a lot of it feels like a safety blanket. Like there's a lot of
Hmm.
safety and warmth in that dysfunction. Like it feels
Yeah.
comfy, yeah.
So could you just allow yourself to hold on to this a little bit longer? The safety blanket. Did you receive that feeling of comfort? And what if what if we're not getting rid of anything? What if we took the lid off and then, we just set it down right next to you? So anytime you wanted to pick it up, it could just be right there in arm's reach. What comes up when you consider that?
I have the image of like, you know how a magician holds like a sheet or a blanket, like when they're doing something behind, um,
Mm-hmm.
make someone disappear or make something appear. So that's sort of the image that comes up, like, oh, like, yeah, okay, you can drop the blanket, like you can drop that screen. But that's the image that comes up.
Okay. So it sounds like there's a little bit of willingness. Like maybe we can
Yeah, like
just
well, it's more a sense of like temporariness,
yeah, and that's
like
okay.
you can, yeah, like you can play with it, um, like it can be dropped, but there's still a bit of fear, like what's behind, like okay, like the fear of being seen, yeah, like of like what's
Yeah.
behind.
Okay. So that's why we like the phrase of just for now.
Yeah.
Just for now. Just for now. Could you notice what is beneath this screen? There's part of you that wants to protect you from being loved, the wanting separation. What's beneath that?
I think it's a fear of envy or jealousy. Like it's almost like if I'm holding like a toy that I really love, or like I'm being held by something that really loves me, like someone's going to attack me, or they're going to break it, or they're going to hurt me. Like I'm going to be vulnerable to that thing that I love being broken or taken away. You know, if like
Mm-hmm.
jealous of your toy and they break the toy, like you're like, I'd rather not show you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sense of like the like, ooh, like I'm gonna cause a reaction that's not gonna work. Like I'm gonna get like the thing that I love and is loved is gonna get broken or hurt, or someone's gonna
Okay.
hurt it. Yeah.
So just notice all of that.
There's also a sense of like, oh, like there is also a good, like a beauty. Like there's something so lovely. Like that's like the thing that you love or the thing that's loved, right? Like that's there too. It's almost like I'm kind of enjoying it. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to share it. Like I don't want other people to see it.
Yeah. So notice any sense of envy or jealousy or wanting to covet, to keep it all to yourself. And as Tim mentioned earlier, shifting from really thinking about it, but feeling that in your body. What do those feelings, what do they feel like? Sensations. Sensations are there. And just simply welcoming that.
There is a warmth that I'm enjoying this by my, like I'm enjoying it and I'm safe. So I definitely don't want to share it or expose it. Like, oh, there's a warmth here, and I am enjoying it. Um,
Okay.
it's almost like the sheet or the persona is keeping this warmth safe. Like I keep seeing kind of like a golden marble, but it's like covered in a burlap sack of like dirt and mud and twigs. Like the exterior is messy as a sort of detraction. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't look here.
Yeah. So just noticing all of that. And then check to see what is beyond or beneath that.
Yeah. Um, I have this image of like I'm holding a golden marble, but then I'm also encased in another golden marble. So I'm kind of like protected. Like I have my thing that I love, but I'm also like a part, like I am also somebody else's golden marble. Like I'm encased in that kind of like a bauble, or um, yeah, there's warmth surrounding me as well as me holding it.
So how does all that feel?
It feels safer, right?
Okay.
Because I'm contained, but there's like an uncertainty about how other people will react or respond. Like I don't know how this is going to be received.
So noticing that uncertainty and the concern about others, just simply noticing that. And what's beneath that?
Fear.
Okay. So notice that fear. Could you allow that fear to be here as much as it is? And then I invite you to welcome the safety that's here in this moment, that's actually here. Here you are, it's you and I and anyone else on this call. Everything's okay. Just welcoming that sense of safety. There may be thoughts that say otherwise. Could you be open to the possibility of just noticing that safety, that I am safe right now, as best as you can? And then just checking in about anything else around the story, around being seen and love and allowing yourself to connect and wanting to be safe. Just noticing. We don't even have to say it, just noticing what's here around that. And allowing whatever's being noticed. Like, oh, that's where we are now. Isn't that interesting? And now check to see what's beneath that.
What I'm noticing is like letting myself feel safe,
Mm-hmm.
right? So just like allowing safety,
Good.
like letting myself feel safe, like opening the door to that. Like it literally feels like I'm opening the door and safety is coming in, like a kind of
Beautiful.
gust of wind, and enveloping like the whole thing,
Good.
like a cushion or an insulation.
And could you allow that safety to be here? The safety that is here now. Could you be open to that? Could you allow yourself to be one with that safety? Noticing any resistance to that. Any part of you that does not feel safe in the presence of safety. And any contraction, any resistance, you can allow that.
No, what I'm feeling is like I'm in a giant tent of like safety, and you're all like in there with me, like, oh, we're all under this giant tent of safety. Um, yeah.
What if all of a sudden that tent just like vaporized and that we didn't need to be contained? Can you notice the safety that remains? Could you be open to that possibility?
The image I'm getting is like a beam of sun. Like, okay, like we're all under the same ray of sun.
Yes. And how does that feel?
It feels inclusive, like, oh, I'm also included, like like, oh, I can,
Yes.
like, I'm included in this. And that there is a sense of like togetherness, like I'm
Yes.
not separate.
Yes.
Uh,
Perfect.
like we're all in it together. Um,
So that's on the other side of wanting separation.
mhm. Yeah.
That sense
Well,
of oneness. That sun shines upon us all. They don't need to be hidden or shut off. Like we can receive. We can receive that. Like we already are that. But all the thoughts and the stories and the hurts and the pain and whatever apparently happens, it eclipses that sun. It's like the sun continues to shine, but then something gets in the way of receiving that light. And we can begin to think, I'm not worthy of receiving that light. I need to I need to shut myself off. I need to withdraw. I need to be separate. So I invite you as best as you can to feel that warmth, that light, that sense that you are as worthy as every other being here on this planet to receive that nurturing warmth and support and love that shines down upon you and every other being. As best as you can, I invite you to welcome that sense of oneness that's here right now. How are you now, Mari?
yeah, it almost feels like I'm under that beam of sun and like other people want to join, like there's a joining, like an invitation to all be under that one beam. Um, and it almost feels like I'm instrumental in that. Like I'm not a side. Like like I'm bringing my own beam of light, you know. Um, kind of like this attachment to the beam and taking it with me wherever I go and inviting others um,
Yes.
and being a part like oh like I am bringing something to the table
Yeah.
and that beam of light is an invitation also for others, right, to be warmed and to receive warmth, um, and that they're not coming for me like to hurt me
Yeah.
or attack me, like they're coming to join in the beam of sun
Beautiful.
that's like kind of over my head, like could we come under the beam too, like could we share in the sun,
Yeah.
um, and that sort of they're not going to hurt you but they like it's almost like they want to come to your party, like can we come,
Yeah. Yeah.
um and that feels really generous
Mm.
and like I have something to share and something
Mm.
to to give, but to give in a way that includes me, right, like um,
Beautiful.
I'm giving from a place like I can't escape being attached to the beam, like I can't, so I take it
Yeah.
with me wherever I go and like people can come join that.
Yeah. It's within you. It's within everyone, even if we don't see or feel it.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Beautiful. You're welcome. So this is going to be this is being recorded and I upload my support calls onto my YouTube channel. So you can just search for my name. If you want to listen through this again, Mari, I think yeah, so it can be
Yeah, I'm so
used.
grateful. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's so
Yeah,
good to have you here. And
thank you.
you're welcome and enjoy the rest of your day. Um, and I know we're getting close to the top of the hour, but I wanted to I'm able to go over a few more minutes for anybody else that really wants to receive support. I want to be able to provide that. So, um, Evelyn or Marja, if either of you need anything, I'm here. Just raise your hand. And if not, that's okay too. Are you both good?
I'm fine.
Oh.
I'm
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Evelyn. All right. Well, I appreciate everyone that was here today, and I wish just a wonderful new year and look forward to sharing space again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank
Have a-
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye.